Hey there, fantasy football fanatics. Welcome back to Sportsnaut's weekly fantasy football sit-em or start-em. I'm Scott Branson, and today we're diving into our picks for fantasy's heroes and zeros for Week 11 in the NFL. Let's get the ball rolling. First up, the quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. Last week, Love was like a roller coaster at an amusement park, thrilling at first, but ended with a bit of nausea. Ooh. Despite two late interceptions, he racked up 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns. This week, he's up against the Chargers, who've been about as effective against QBs as a sieve is with water. If Jared Goff can light him up, so can Love. So for Week 11, it's a big stardom for Jordan. Next up, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Oh, Josh. Last week, he was like the chef who burnt the roast, a total disaster. 3 turnovers and a goodbye wave to the offensive coordinator. And now he faces the Jets, who've been his kryptonite since week 1. My advice? Keep Allen on your bench and maybe send him some good vibes. Now let's sprint to the running backs. Tony Pollard, Dallas Cowboys. Pollard's been more meh than wow this season, but hey, matchups matter in Fantasyland. Facing the Panthers, who've been as generous to running backs as grandparents are with candy, Pollard is a tasty option, so go ahead and start him. On to Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans. Once the mighty Henry now probably wishes he packed his bags at the trade deadline. Last week, he was like a sports car stuck in traffic, going nowhere fast. Up next, the Jaguars, who've been stingy with fantasy points to running backs. Sorry, Henry, it's a sit-em this week. Catching up with the wide receivers, Romeo Doubs of the Green Bay Packers. If you're looking to pair up Love and Doubs, this is a good week. They're up against the Chargers, who've been about as tough on receivers as a pillow fight. Expect Doubs to double down on the points. Start him. George Pickens, Pittsburgh Steelers. Facing the Browns, Pickens might find it tougher than a crossword puzzle on a Monday morning. With the Browns' defense clamping down on wide receivers, it's not looking rosy for Pickens. Sorry, George, but for you, it's a sit-em. And finally, the tight ends. TJ Hockenson, Minnesota Vikings. Hawkinson's been catching passes like they're going out of style. Up against the Broncos, who've been as welcoming to tight ends as grandma is to her grandkids. Get it? It's Thanksgiving time. You get the theme? Hockenson is a must start. So guess what? Hockenson, start him. Cade Otton, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Otton's been a reliable safety valve for Baker Mayfield, but he's up against the 49ers, who are tougher on tight ends than a strict teacher is with homework. Expect Otton to be more bottled up than a message in the sea. Yes, sit him! That's a wrap for this week's Sit 'em or Start 'em here from Sportsnaut. In fantasy football, just in life, sometimes you got to take risks and cut the biscuit. Good luck, and may your fantasy team score more points than a pinball machine. We'll see you next week.